Alright. Post game. I couldn't do it not Saturday. After the game, because I was heated. I was mad. You can check the PSN Discord. We were all mad. You can even check Monday. I still was kind of mad, but then I kind of got caught up with things, but now I'm finally on track. The Notre Dame one should be out shortly. After this one, if I get to recording it today, I should. I have the time. It just depends on if something takes that spot, which hopefully doesn't. But looking back at the game, it sucks. It really sucks that we lost. And I can give you a million reasons, but you gotta figure out the real reasons we lost. Part of it's definitely because that O-line was garbage. Because your inactives were Jalen Hurts, which he's the third quarterback. That really doesn't matter. I said that going into the game. Alshon, we knew he was going to be out. Miles, that one. We had no running game without Miles. Boston got some carries. I'll admit he did some good. But other than that, Huntley got what, like a snap or two? Which, that I was kind of annoyed with. Because I was saying, I was saying during the game, Huntley's your speed guy that isn't Sanders that you could probably run through. They didn't do that. First half looked so solid, and then the line started giving up. Wentz started trying to overextend plays. He wasn't throwing the ball away. He was only on one designed rollout, which we all know Wentz is one of the best quarterbacks on the run. Looking at the team stats quick, 17 rushes for 57 yards. I'm sure most of those carries were Boston, and he didn't get very far. As compared to, the defense was almost stellar. It was just the horrible field position given up by the offense that the defense... If you're the defense and you get set up on your own 30-yard line, that's tougher than getting set up on your opponent's 40-yard line. Which, if they punted, all the times they failed to convert, they probably could have put the ball back at least beyond the 50 and made it harder for the offense to march downfield, even if they got momentum. Wentz was sacked 8 times for 62 yards. There was one play where he literally just gave up. That whole offensive line just broke. Everyone came through and he didn't get rid of it, which he's got to start throwing it away. I will admit that. But they've also got to put him on a lot of RPOs again. They've got to put him on RPOs. They've got to put him on design rollouts. That'll get him moving, get receivers open. And there was also a couple times where he had trouble reading the field. That's part of it when you've got pressure coming in from all sides all the time. Net passing yards, Philly was leading that battle. And in total yards, but there was 3 fumbles, at least one from Wentz, and there was 1 lost compared to Washington had 2, but none of them are lost. Philly had 3 turnovers, 2 interceptions. The first one, Rieger could have had it. But I think that one was more on Wentz than the Hightower one. I think the Hightower one was more on Hightower than it was on Wentz. I'm pretty sure, I can't go back and look at the moment, but I'm pretty sure it was Rieger. I think he overstepped 2 steps on the route. I think that's what it was. I think he took too many steps. I think that's what it was. Philly did great with penalties. He only had 3 for 20 compared to Washington's 7 for 55. Philly was 5 for 14 on 3rd down and 0 for 2 on 4th down, compared to Washington's 5 for 18 on 3rd down, but 1 for 2 on 4th down. If Philly punts those 2 times they don't convert on 4th down, and if they don't let up on either of those, Philly wins the game. Philly wins the game. It's that simple. Time of possession was very similar. 30 minutes and 39 seconds for Philly, 29 minutes 21 seconds for Washington. Looking at the individual stats, Wentz, he was 24 for 42 for 272 touchdowns, but also had 2 interceptions, got sacked 8 times, and at a rate of 72.5. That's not good, especially for how good Wentz is. We know how good Wentz is. I kind of already went over his passing game. In the second half, it was horrible. He just couldn't get the offense moving. He had 2 of the fumbles, and the other fumble was, Jalen Reagor. Wentz had 1 rushing attempt for 2 yards. Boston Scott and Corey Clement got a bulk of the carries, getting 9 and 6, with Huntley getting 1, and I think Huntley had 2 snaps on the field, if not 1, and I remember seeing him on that one play, and they didn't use him very well. But Boston, he went 9 for 35, Clement went 6 for 19. Clement couldn't go anywhere. They also both were targeted twice, Clement and Scott. They both caught each of them, but Clement only had 2 yards, and Scott had better. He had 19 yards, but that's not enough. You didn't have Miles Sanders, who's your wheel guy. He's your guy that's going to get around. He's your guy you're going to hit on a wheel, and he's going to blast past people. He's also your number 1 back, which you're going to miss. He's your speed guy, and not only that, Miles is essential in the screen and pass game, too. And you lose that when you lose him. Goddard, 9 targets, 8 receptions, 101, 1 touchdown. He had a very good game. I'm excited that he could do good. Reagor, 4 targets, 1 reception, 55 yards. That was the deep bomb for a big chunk of yardage. I think it got him down to the 10. Yeah, it did. Deshaun Jackson, Greg Ward, Zach Ertz, all 7 targets. But Jackson's stat line went 2 receptions, 46 yards, 0 touchdowns. Ward had 5 receptions for 31, and Ertz had 3 for 18 for a touchdown. And finally, John Hightower, 4 targets, 1 reception, negative 2 yards. Don't want to talk about that. Haskins didn't throw any interceptions, but he struggled in the pass game. Slay really did take Scary Terry Rozier out of the game. I'm happy about that. Nickel Roby-Coleman started to lock down in that nickel spot. So I'm happy, but I feel like we're feeling the losses there. And quickly glancing back at the rest of the injuries, Casey Toohill, backup D-end. I feel like we missed all 3. We haven't seen Hargrave, so we can't say what we've missed yet. We really missed Lane on that right side. Herbig, I feel like, should be out of right guard. I feel like you need to put Pryor back in there. But apparently they're set with Herbig right now, which sucks. And then you're looking at Driscoll at that other tackle spot, which he did good until he got hurt. Please don't remind me about that. That was horrible. I don't even remember who played in this spot. That's how unmemorable that was. So I feel like we missed Lane, and I feel like we missed Derek. Especially once Vinny got hurt. When Vinny Curry went down, you're really missing Derek. Because BG also went down. And Sweat came in. Sweat did a good job. But you were missing that pressure once everybody started to go down. And here, let me even glance over during game injuries. Because I remember, Vinny Curry did go down. Yeah, it's going to take me a minute to scroll up. So. Alright, so I think there were not any injuries in the first half. Yeah, there were no injuries in the first half. There were no injuries in the third, and then Vinny Curry goes down, and he had a hamstring injury. He was out, and then Brandon Graham goes down for a concussion the time was evaluating for a head injury, and then Jack Driscoll also went down. I think somebody else may have gone down. It was not a good day for Philly. Looking at the defense, no picks, at least not for Philly. Looking at pass deflections. McLeod brought in 2 pass deflections. Cravon, Maddox, both had 1. And on the other side, Ronald Darby, Fabin Morial, and Jimmy Moreland all had 1. And Morial and Moreland had the picks on Wentz. Sacks. Kerrigan, Chase Young, Matthew Iodonis, Montez Sweat, Jonathan Bostic, Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne all had at least half a sack on Wentz. That shows how unstable this line was in the second half. It was so unstable, it wasn't funny. And you couldn't do anything about it. On Philly's side of the ball, Duke Riley, Vinny Curry, Jannard Avery, T.Y. McGill all had half a sack. Josh Sweat had a sack. That's it. That defensive line got pressure, but they could not get sacks. That's what matters. Fletcher and John... I forgot his name for a second. Great day. But I'm going to go to combined tackles. Actually, hold on. Malik Jackson. Right. I had the name, I lost it for a sec. Malik and Fletcher did so much, and they got a lot of pressure. But they were trying to keep Malik and Fletcher out so much that's why Vinny and BG were able to get around. Because I feel like they focused a lot on the D tackles. Especially, I think there was a few double teams. A lot of the double teams probably went to them at defensive tackle. And that's what you're going to get when you get Jannard. And you have a healthy Hassan. You have a rotation of 4 defensive tackles. And the lowest guy, Hassan, is at least a good depth player. You have the depth there. And you even have T.Y. McGill, another defensive tackle who's been on and off rosters, but he's got that. He's good. He has a level of skill that he can probably stay on this team for a while till the injured guys come back. But anyway, Nathan Gerry, 5 solo, 5 assisted tackles, 2 tackles for a loss. My guy bringing in 10 tackles right now is the leading tackler. Right behind him, Rodney McLeod, 8 tackles, 6 solo, 2 assists, no tackles for a loss. For tackles, I'm just going to focus on Philly from defense on, I think. Duke Riley. He got his start this season. 6 tackles, 3 assists, 3 solo. Jalen Mills, 4 solo, 1 assist, 5 total.